Hello, this is Bob74H back with another review. Today we will be discussing the Naruto anime, and in this case we're discussing the first two episodes. So in the first episode, my issue with it thereof is that it portrays the fourth Hokage as someone who saves the leaf, which the issue with that being is later on it's shown that he didn't summon Gamabunta in the way that it shows in the first episode. Anyways, that's kind of my issue with that detail, and my issue with actually, wouldn't that be an issue with the later detail? Whatever, it doesn't really matter. So another issue with this episode is the third Hokage has like this magic ball, right, where he can see everything, but he doesn't think to ever use it to stop Naruto. Like, he doesn't send them in a direction that would stop him. And another weird thing is, why doesn't Sarutobi, or the third Hokage at this point, why doesn't he decide to stop Naruto if he can see everything he's doing with this magic ball? Like, it doesn't make much sense. And the second episode rolls around, and we get information that Ibitsu was able to teach some Hokage candidates. And to my question would be who? Like, literally, who did he teach? Because the only Hokage candidates that didn't really become Hokage, so to speak, were Orochimaru. Like, even Danzo was able to become a Hokage. So yes, it's very illogical, to say the very least, that they think of us to say that he's this elite teacher. Like, they're portraying him as like a very powerful character, and he kind of gets just no diffed by Naruto. And I was watching it with like a ally or like acquaintance of sorts, and I was just laughing at the sheer stupidity of it, right? So it's like, this guy thinks he's elite, how cute. And that's kind of what I said. And the thing is about that is, I think that's kind of how the story wants us to see it too, because he kind of brags a lot about like his accomplishments and his achievements, so it kind of makes his claims dubious, especially when he's claiming such extreme things as him being Hokage level or near that. That was pretty dubious at best. And again, he could say like he fought Pain at one time, but I mean, nobody's gonna argue that Showcase was something relative to his average power, because Pain still bodied him even then. So even if you wanted to go there, Pain still utterly defeated him. So even that argument's kind of flawed. So back on what I was saying about the episode. So Naruto apparently like learned the sexy jutsu by going in like Guru's washrooms to figure out how they look, which begs the question of, how did he do it so many times that he was able to get enough of an image to figure it out? You could say maybe he only did it once, but Naruto isn't a genius or someone to remember exactly one detail after seeing it once. Plus, what would make him think to come up with this move? I know why he has it, because he's Naruto and he's kind of a pervert, but why would he be one to come up with that? Like, he can't do like clones, right? But he can do like this for some reason. It's kind of weird. Like, he can't do like basic clones, right? But he can do this jutsu for some reason, which is a higher tier body modification. Not body modification, but a higher tier of like transformation than the clone would be. So it doesn't make much sense why he would have the ability to transform his body to look like that, but he can't just make a basic clone. Like, obviously one sounds a lot more difficult than another. And then also another detail that I had issue with in my run of the show is that so much happens in the first episode. It's kind of ridiculous that they kind of shoved it all into one episode. So first off, we get the reveal that Naruto is the QB sealed inside of him. We get the reveal that Naruto is disillusioned. He's kind of outcasted from society, and he wants to be recognized as Hokage. We get a villain who hates Naruto, and they fight a bit. And we don't even see the full fight, mind you. So this whole like sequence is very rushed, right? So I think they should have put it into a few episodes, maybe like the first 3. as it's definitely a lot to crush into one episode. Like with the Konohamaru episode, it's shown that not much happens. Like he meets Konohamaru, he hits him, and then he kind of teaches him the sexy jutsu, and that's kind of what happens there. Not much else happens. So yeah, that could be done in one episode, as not much of importance happens. With the Mizuki stuff, though, that should have been 3 episodes, as a lot happens in that time. Also, I want to bring this up because it's a very, very precise detail I liked. So when at the beginning of the first episode of Naruto, we see 2 guys are chasing him. One guy has an eye patch, and later on in that same episode, we see that guy with an eye patch again. I kind of just like that subtle attention to detail where they'll have characters that appeared before appear again, especially when it was like a flashback scene almost. Not even a flashback scene; it was just like a mini montage at the beginning of the episode. So it's kind of a neat attention to detail that they'll add that same character later on. Like most animes would have just had that be a random character, and then have a different character appear later on. Naruto has a very good attention to detail in that sense. At least at the beginning, when a lot of it was very precise and very thought out. Well, later on, you could tell that they kind of just didn't really think about it as much. And another issue I've had with this episode is the third Hokage, like in these episodes, he's kind of portrayed as like not giving a fuck. Like he doesn't really care. And whenever his grandson tries to assassinate him, he kind of just holds his head. He's like, oh my god, the things I have to deal with. And you think that Sarutobi, or the third Hokage, would do something about his grandson assassinating him 20 times. But nope, never does one thing about it, funny enough. And another thing is, what is with the third Hokage? He has like this ball, but he doesn't keep in line any of his ninja. Like he doesn't put them in line. He doesn't motivate them. He doesn't have any level of control over his soldiers. They just do whatever, and they constantly disobey his commands. Like Mizuki called Naruto the QB. Ibitsu went on to attack Naruto. So yeah, it's very inconsistent with his portrayal. Like he's shown, I guess it's kind of consistent because he's shown not giving a fuck, and so his ninjas just do whatever. But the issue with that being later on, he's supposed to be like this ultra caring guy who just cares about everyone in his village, which is kind of inconsistent when you consider that he kind of just doesn't care much when anything happens. Like, in the first episode, he literally sees Naruto getting attacked by Mizuki. He also sees Iruka getting attacked by Mizuki, and he doesn't think to do one thing about it. Like, he's watching it happen on his, like, crystal ball, and he's not doing one thing about it. So, yeah, his portrayal of him caring about people is very inconsistent. Anyways, this is my, like, review or critique of the first 2 episodes. So if you enjoyed, please hit the like button or subscribe for more. However, this is Bob74H signing off.